I'll never forget the night a fake cop slammed cold steel handcuffs on my wife. For nothing more than Christmas lights. Neighbors filmed. Nobody helped. Her wrists bled while our decorations shattered. What would you do if a stranger humiliated your family? Me? I burned her empire to ashes. My name's Rex Thornton. I'm 52 years old, with grease ground into my hands from 30 years of motorcycle repair. My wife Luna teaches 3rd grade. Gentle, artistic, the kind of woman who paints joy into every corner of life. Every December, she transforms our modest ranch house into Christmas magic. The smell of fresh pine and cookies draws kids from blocks away. 3 years straight, Luna's won Best Holiday Display. The trophy sits proudly beside my father's Purple Heart, proof that even ordinary families can create extraordinary traditions. We're simple people. I fix what's broken. Luna teaches kids to dream. Together, we've built a life worth protecting. But in Oak Ridge Meadows, a neighborhood slowly choking on its own fake prestige, simple joy doesn't fit. And one woman, fueled by power and envy, was ready to destroy everything we'd worked for. Her name was Bryce Kellerman, 45 years old, 6 feet tall, built like she bench-pressed fire hydrants. She failed the police academy twice for psychological instability and excessive force. Instead of a badge, she bought one online, a shiny piece of plastic stamped HOA Enforcement Officer. Bryce had moved in 18 months earlier, paying cash for the biggest house on Pine Street. 4,000 square feet of marble countertops and fake success. She strutted around like she owned the place, clipboard in one hand, ruler in the other, measuring lawns and threatening fines. Her obsession went beyond rules. In her garage sat 17 vintage Harley-Davidsons, chrome shrines worth nearly $400,000. Neighbors whispered about inheritance, but I'd seen enough fraud cases to know something didn't add up. Those bikes weren't trophies of hard work. They were stolen dreams polished to a shine. But I didn't know that yet. All I knew was this: Bryce was about to make my wife the target of her power trip. And it started with a string of Christmas lights. It was a crisp November evening. Luna had just finished stringing up the lights, frost sparkling on the wires, cocoa steaming in her hands. Our house glowed like captured starlight. Kids pressed faces to car windows, marveling. That's when boots crunched across our yard. Bryce, her plastic badge gleamed under the glow, clipboard clutched like a weapon. "Violation!" she screamed. "Premature holiday display." Luna blinked. "It's almost December," Bryce snarled. "Regulation 47B. No decorations before December 1st. Daily fine, $500. Before Luna could answer, Bryce lunged. Steel handcuffs snapped around her wrists with a metallic crack. Luna stumbled backward into our front door. Ornaments shattered, glass slicing her cheeks. Neighbors stood frozen, phones raised, recording but not helping. Luna sobbed, "Please stop." Her wrists turned purple as Bryce twisted the cuffs tighter. The humiliation scorched my veins hotter than fire. My wife, bleeding, trembling, while a fake cop paraded her power for an audience. That was the moment I swore Bryce Kellerman would pay, and her empire of chrome would burn. The next day, I drove past Bryce's garage. The door left half open. My mechanic's eyes caught it instantly. 17 pristine Harleys lined up like soldiers, a 48 Panhead, a 65 Electra Glide, 3 shovel heads from the 70s. Bikes I'd only ever seen in police impound reports. Combined value? $400 grand. But here's the kicker. Bryce made maybe 70 grand a year as an insurance investigator. There's no universe where she could afford that fleet legally. My gut tightened. Those weren't just bikes. They were stolen legacies. Family heirlooms ripped from honest hands, now trophies in hers. And as I stared, I realized destroying those motorcycles wasn't just revenge. It was justice. After the handcuff incident, Bryce doubled down. She taped fake injunctions to our door claiming our lights endangered airplanes. She measured our grass with a ruler and threatened $50 fines for half an inch too tall. Neighbors started whispering their own horror stories. Sarah Martinez fined for a garden gnome. Doug Williams cited for parking his work truck in his own driveway. But Bryce saved her worst for us. Every day a new threat. Every night Luna's fear grew deeper. That's when I knew. If we didn't fight back, she'd bury us. And I refused to let my wife bleed twice for a bully's amusement. I spent nights in the garage, hands blackened with grease, mind sharper than ever. Evidence piled up. Photos of Bryce's bikes, copies of her bogus letters, whispers from neighbors who'd had enough. I reached out to old friends, Jake Wrench Morrison, president of Steel Thunder Motorcycle Club, and Detective Sarah Martinez, a retired fraud specialist. Together, we sketched a plan. Expose Bryce, strip away her fake authority, and take from her the one thing she valued most, those 17 Harleys. This wasn't just payback. It was a message. You don't handcuff an innocent woman and walk away smiling. The night came cold and sharp, stars cutting the sky. Jake and his riders rolled in, engines growling like thunder. Together, we pushed Bryce's gleaming trophies into the quarry behind her mansion. Gasoline shimmered on chrome. Matches sparked against wind. For one long second, silence. Then flames roared to life, swallowing $400,000 of stolen pride. Engines popped, tires screamed, smoke spiraled into the night. Neighbors watched from rooftops as Bryce's empire crumbled into ash. Each Harley's collapse was more than destruction. It was redemption. For every family she'd robbed, every neighbor she'd terrorized, every scar she left on Luna's wrists. And when the fire died, all that remained was twisted steel and justice. By morning, Bryce was finished. Photos of the burning Harleys spread across the community like wildfire. Neighbors rallied, filing complaints, demanding answers. Police followed the trail. The Harleys matched stolen VIN numbers from across 3 states. Fraud charges stacked high. Her fake HOA presidency collapsed overnight. For the first time in weeks, Luna smiled. Not because the pain vanished, but because justice finally shone brighter than Christmas lights. So what's the lesson? Bullies hide behind fake authority until someone calls their bluff. Bryce thought she could handcuff my wife and own this neighborhood. Instead, she lost everything. Christmas lights should bring joy, not fear. If you've ever faced a power-hungry HOA or a corrupt neighbor, share your story in the comments. Someone out there needs to hear they're not alone. And if you want more tales of ordinary families defeating fake authority, hit that subscribe button. Because in Oak Ridge Meadows, justice always burns brighter than stolen chrome.